Welcome everyone. Today we have another new episode and we're going to discuss some of the interesting things. Specifically, there are many questions about SDG. I just discussed some of the specific point on sustainable development goal. So number one goal is no poverty. So what does mean this no poverty or the end poverty in all or form anywhere and everywhere? Actually, this before the COVID, the world was off track to the end poverty by 2030s. So by 2030s, there is a plan that we can reduce the poverties, but it's increasing. COVID-19, the first increase, 71 million people are post. Natural disasters, exactly the poverty, 23.6 billion dollar direct economic losses, and 4 billion people did not benefit from any form of social protections in 2016. So in that situations we need to be very much careful about the poverty and this kind of things. We have the second goal from UN. This is the end hunger, achieve food security and improve nutrition and the promote sustainable agreement. So if you see that zero hungers, the end hungers, achieve food security and improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture is very much important. Food insecurity was alert on the rise. Population affected by moderate or severe food insecurity, as well as if we see stunning in the west among children are likely to worse. 21.3% of the children under 5 are stunned. 6.9% of the children under 5 are affected by the wastings. Small scale food producers are hit hard by the crisis, compromising 40 to 80, 40% to 85% of all food producers in developing regions. So this is one of the major challenges we are observing right now for SDG and SDG related things. So there is a third goal: ensures healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. So ensure healthy lives and promote well-beings for all at all ages means progress in many health areas continues but needs accelerations. Let's in our child health care, mental health, HIV, immunizations, everywhere reverse decades of the improvements. As well as interrupted childhood immunizations programs in around 70% percent illness and death from communicable disease will speaks. Service cancellations will lead to the 100% increase in malaria death in sub-Saharan Africans. Many of the things actually happening, then we must need to be very much careful about that, and moreover, there is a fourth goal. Fourth goal is that if ensure inclusions and equitable quality educations and promoting lifelong learning opportunity for all. So ensure inclusion and equitable quality for education and promote lifelong learning opportunity for all means progress towards inclusive and equitable qualitative education was too slow. Over 200 million children will still be out of school in 2030s. School closure keep 90% of all students out of school, reversing years of progress on educations. Um, Inequalities in education are exacerbated by COVID-19. In low-income countries, children school completion rate is 79% in richest, 29% of households, 34% in richest, and 20% on household. Remote learning remains out of reach for at least 500 million students. So there is a major challenge that always we focus that remote learning remains out of reach at least 500 people, 500 million peoples. So this is one of the major challenge for inequitable education system. So achieve gender equality and empowering all women and the girls. Achieve gender equality and empowering all women and the girl also importance. Before COVID-19, despite improvement, full gender equality remains under affected. Review girls are forced into early marriage. More women are in leadership role. COVID-19 impacts. Lockdowns are increasing the risk of violence against women and girls, physical, sexual, and psychological. Cases of domestic violence have increased by 30% in some countries. So women must be represented family in pandemic related leadership roles. Women perspective 25% in national parliament, 36% in local government. Women are on the front lines of the fighting the COVID-19. Women account for 70% of the health and social workers. Women bears addiction as household burdens during the pandemics. Women already spend about 3 times as many hours in unpaid domestics and care work as men. Ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. Ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sustainable for all is very important. Before COVID-19, despite progress, billions still lack water and sanitation service. 2.2 billion people lack safety managed drinking water. 4.2 billion people lack safety managed sanitations. COVID-19 implication: 3 billion people worldwide lack basic hand washing facilities at home. The most effective method for COVID-19 preventions. Two, in fine healthcare facilities worldwide have no soap and waters or alcohol-based hand drops. Water scarcity could displace 700 million people by 2030s. Some countries experiencing a funding gap of 61% of achieving water and sanitization target. So there are actually there are actually many of the challenging things happening right now, and we have to take a lot of challenges and lot of initiative. So like the goal 7, ensure access of affordable, reliable, sustainable and modern energy for all. So in that situations, before the COVID-19, they need scaling up of sustainable energy. 789 million people lack of electricity. On the other hand, step by efforts in renewable energy are needed. 17% share of renewables in total energy consumptions. Energy facility improving rate falls short from 3%. Affordable and reliable energy is critically for health facilities. 1 in 4 not electrified in some developing countries. Financing follow to development countries for renewable energy are increasing. 21.4 billion people, but only 12% goes for the less developed countries. Promote sustainable and inclusion and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment and decent work for all. In that situations, promote sustainable inclusion, sustainable economic growth, full and proactive employment and decent work for all. We go for global economic growth was slowing down. 2% of the GDP per capita growth, 1.5% GDP per capita growth. During the pandemic, 1.6 billion worker in the formal economy risk losing their livelihood. Tourism is facing unprecedented challenges. International tourist arrival with COVID-19 2020 sanitarized 850 millions and 140 millions. COVID-19 caused the equivalents of 400 million losses of second quarter of 2020. Goal number 8 is building resilient infrastructure, promote inclusions and sustainable industrialization and foster innovations. So for that particular issue, build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive, sustainable industrialization and foster innovations. Before COVID-19, manufacturing growth was decline due to the traffic and traders tensions. Financial for small scale industries is needed for their survival through the crisis. Only 35% have access to the credit in the developing countries. Investment is research and development is growing but need to accelerate. $1.4 trillion and $2 trillion in 2017. The aviation industry has suffered the steepest decline in history. Air passenger number fell by 51% from January to May 2020, and fewer than one in five people use the internet in LDC, less developed countries. There are more other important things like reduce inequality within the among the countries. So reduce inequality within the among countries means before COVID-19 income inequality was falling some countries, specifically if we focused on if we focused on uh, some of the specific things, specific things, example, income inequality was falling in some countries. Gini index fails in 38 out of 84 countries. Global recessions could squeeze development aid to the developing countries, $420 billion and to $271 billion. Thus most vulnerable groups are hardest by the pandemics. So 54% of the countries with data have comprehensive set of migration policies. There is a goal number 8, make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. A share of urban population living in slums rose 24% in 2018. Only half of the world urban population has convenient access to the public transport, 500 to 1,000 meter distance. Air pollution caused 4.2 million parameter death in 2016. Over 90% of the COVID-19 cases are in urban areas. 47% of the population's walking distance live in within the 400 meters to open public space. So there are many things actually happening in this world, and we need to be very much careful about this particular situation. And if you can understand these things in an effective way, uh, uh, ensure sustainable consumptions and production patterns. Ensure sustainable consumptions and production pattern. The world continues to use natural resources unsustainable. In 2010, global meters footprints 73.2 billion tons. In 2017, global meters footprints was 85.9 billion tons. Beside that, we have electronic waste grow by 38%, but less than 20% in recycled. Fossil fuel subsidies are contributing to the climate crisis, $318 billion, and 2018, $427 billion. The pandemic offered an opportunity to develop recovery plans that build a more sustainable futures. In 2017 to 2019, 79 countries and the European Union reported at least one policy to promote sustainable consumptions and productions. So harvesting, transportation, storage, processing of the food lost in supply chains, 13.8%. Goal number 13 is taking urgent action of combined climate change and its impact. So take urgent actions to combat climate change and its impact is global community shies away from communities' records to resolve the climate crisis. 2019 was the second warmest years of the records. Global temperatures are projected to rise by up to 3.2 degree Celsius by 2001. COVID-19 may result in a 6% drop in greenhouse gas emissions for 2020, still short of 7.6 million annual reducing in requires to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. So only 85 countries have a national disaster risk reducing strategic aligned to the Sardine framework. Climate friends investing in the fossil fuels continues to be higher than investing in the climate actions. Conservance and the sustainable use of ocean seas and the marine resources for sustainable developments. And if we see that conservant and sustainable use the ocean sea and the marine resources for sustainable developments, ocean acidifications continues to threaten marine environment and ecosystem service. 100 to 150% rise in oceans accident in projected by 2100s affected half in of all marine life. Biodiversity is a global marine key biodiversity area covered by the protected area increased 35 30.5%, 44.8% in 2015 and 2019, 46%. Sustainable fisheries contribute to the GDP. Small Iceland development state is in oceans and in 1.11% latest developments. So 10x the global average. The disaster reductions in the human activities brought about by COVID-19 may be changed for oceans to recapitulates. Goal number 15, protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, sustainable manage forest, combat desertifications and halt and diverse land degradations and half biodiversity loss. So protect, restores, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, sustainable manage forest, combat desertifications, and halt and reserve land degradations and halt the biodiversity loss. The world falling short on 2002 targeted to halt the biodiversity loss. Over 31,000 species are threatened with instincts. 27% of the over 116,000 assessed species in the huge red list forest areas contains to the declines at all alarming rate driven mainly by the agricultural expansion. 10 million healthcare of the forest are destroyed. 2 billion healthcares of the land health are degrades affecting some 3.2 billion people, the driving species to extinctions and intensifying climate change. So world life trafficking disrupting ecosystems and contributes to the spread of infections disease. Only a third of 113 countries were on track to achieve their national target to integrated biodiversity into national planning. So there are many targeted and many things happenings with the sustainable things, and we need to be more careful about the SDG, and we need to take more initiative on SDG, promoting peaceful and inclusive societies for the sustainable development, provide access to the justice for all, and build effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions of all levels. So promote peaceful and inclusive scientists for the sustainable development, provide access to justification for all, and build effectiveness, accountable and inclusive institutional at all levels. So every day 100 civilians are killed in the armed force despite protecting under the international law. The global homicide rate has declined slowly from 5.9% to 5.8%, then translating to 440,000 homicide victims. In COVID-19 implications further, they are threatening global peace and security. 127 countries have adopted a right to information or freedom of information law. Alarm, already in 2019, the number of people feeling wars, persecutions, and conflicts exceeds 79.5 million people, the highest level ever records. 60% of the countries have prison overcrowdings, risking the spread of COVID-19. This is another alarming things. We already we can focus on that particular points. Strengthen the means of implementations and revitalized the global partnership for sustainable developments. So strengthen the means of implementations and revitalized the global partnership for sustainable development goals means net ODA totals of $147.4 billion. Add it to the LDCs and more to 1.3%, 0.226%. So there are many actually informative and interesting things happening right now, but we have to be very much careful. We need to be very much effective, and most important thing is that we need to care about SDG. So if we can care the SDG in an effective way, we can move forward. So thank you everyone, those who watching our sessions. Hopefully we can move to the next level with your questions and everything.